So you will need to find your nearest INEC office. Your nearest INEC office registration takes place at INEC offices in all local government areas across Nigeria, and I believe that's around 775 or 74 local government areas across Nigeria. That means there is a center near you wherever you are in the country of Nigeria. Okay, and to find your closest office, you can use the INEC CVR Live locator, and you can find that locator online. I will put the link and all links to all the websites I've mentioned today in all the areas where you can find information. But the locator website, to find a location, to find an office near you, if you go to locator.inecnigeria.org. So locator.inecnigeria.org. You can also download a full list of all 811 INEC local government authority office addresses. Okay, so there are almost 811 actual office addresses, including like help desk and phone numbers from this link, which I'm going to share. Also, INEC local government authority or local government area office locations, a PDF. So I'm going to share those two things, the link and a PDF with a list of all the local government area office locations. Okay, so you've got no excuse to say you can't find somewhere where you can actually register, because there are offices all over the country. Okay, so that was step 2. Step 2 is about finding an office, because even when you do your pre-registration online, you will still need to go into an office and submit your biometrics and your ID to that local office. This is if you're registering as a voter for the first time. You're not already registered. We already identified that at the beginning of this video. Okay, so step 3 will be the in-person visit, and we will talk about what you need to bring to this section. So what you would need to bring with you on the visit. So in step 2, we've looked at where your local government area office is that you will need to attend in person. Okay, so that you can get your registration biometrics submitted. Your biometrics is like your fingerprints or your finger thumb or maybe your eye. They take a picture of your eye, or I don't know how exactly that process goes once you're in the office, but you will need to submit your biometrics. And then you will also need to submit ID, like your passport or your ID. But first, what we did in step 2 was find a local government area. Now we're going to discuss the in-person visit in step 3, okay? So I'm going to try to speak a lot slower around this step 3, just so that you can get what I am saying. So the in-person visit is turning up to the office. Go into your local government area office, okay? So many people, for the first time when you're registering, you worry you will arrive with the wrong things. So you're worried that you will get to the office and you won't have the correct documentation to prove who you are. You won't have the correct information that the local government area office will require from you. So on the day you visit the INEC office, this is what you must bring with you, okay? Even if you do not register online and you go straight to the office to register, you'll bring with you valid form of identification, which is your national ID card, okay? Or your driver's license, okay? Or international passport, if you have one, okay? But I strongly, suggest to speed up your verification process. Do the online pre-registration slip. Your online pre-registration slip, if you completed step 1, then you bring that slip along with you, because when you register online, the pre-registration is pre-registration. That's not the registration itself. So just to be clear, when you do the pre-registration online, which is step 1 in the video, if you go back to step 1, that's what I'm talking about. Then you just need to bring the slip with you to the office. and that's fine. But if you didn't register online, then you need to turn up with your ID. You still need to turn up with your ID even if you registered online, okay? So if you're collecting an existing PVC, if you're collecting your existing permanent voters card, bring the temporary voter card that you had, because you would have had a temporary voter card that would have been a slip issued to you when you first registered. So everyone who registers for the first time will get a temporary voter card while their permanent voters card is being processed, okay? So you will need to bring any temporary voters card that you have along with you to that biometric meeting. You do not need to bring money. I can't reiterate this enough. Registration is free. If anyone is charging you for registration already, you know there's a problem, okay? You do not need money for this process, okay? Right. And then step 4, what happens at the INEC office? All of this is guidance on the INEC website. So this is information that the INEC have made available to us on how we can understand the full process to registration to become, you know, on the electoral roll, on the voters registered list, okay? So step 4. So in step 4, we're going to talk about what happens at the INEC office. Exactly what you can expect when you arrive step by step, okay? So what happens? Firstly, arrive early. Arrive early. Registration opens at 9 o'clock, okay? I have a guide which has everything I've spoken about today, all of these points I'm mentioning. I have a guide ready. If you comment PVC in the comments, I will send you all the information and instructions are there, okay, as what I've already shared with you, okay? So arrive early. The registration centers across the country open at 9 a.m. and they close at 3 p.m. on the weekdays, which is Monday to Friday, okay? So arrive early. Aim to arrive by 8:30, even 8 o'clock, before the doors open, before the queues, because you know how people start queuing in Nigeria for everything, and you can be there in the hot sun. So arrive early as you can, okay? Right, remember the deadline is approaching. We're still trying to clarify. I'm hoping I can clarify this because I've asked some questions. I've sent some emails to try and get clarification on what the exact deadline is. But let us just assume, you know, so that we are planning ahead. It is the 30th of June. So you know how much time you really have to get this done. So the earlier you go to this office, the less time you will spend waiting. So arrive early on the day that you are attending the office, okay? Step 2, queue and check in when you arrive, okay? So you will need to queue and check in when you arrive at your local government area office. Join the queue at the entrance. And look for an INEC officer, or an INEC officer will direct you to the correct desk or the correct queue, the correct desk, based on your reason for visiting. Either if you're a new registration, this is the first time you are registering yourself as a voter, or if you are coming to collect your PVC, you've already registered. Now they've processed your application. Now you're going to collect your PVC, or maybe you're changing your office from one polling unit to another, one that's closer to where you live. Maybe you've moved or something, okay? Or any amendments or corrections to your personal details, this is all the things we talked about earlier on in the first part of this video, okay? So if you pre-registered online and you have an appointment slip, okay, remember the appointment slip are only for those who pre-registered online. That's step 1, okay? Then let the INEC officer, when you arrive to the office, let them know that let the officer know, and then the officer will direct you to the correct queue or the relevant lane or the right desk for yourself, okay? So if you have your pre-online registration slip, then make sure you present that to any INEC officer when you arrive, Okay. Step 3, your personal data entry. Yeah, because your data will be entered into the INEC's computer or workstation. Okay, so an INEC officer, will be at a computer, will need to capture or verify who you are through your personal information on the National Voter Database. Okay, this includes the information they need to get from you will include your full name, your date of birth, your residential address, okay, the state of your origin, which state were you born, and your polling unit, which is the unit where you will be voting. Okay, they will check your ID that you give them if you have brought one. This part of the day can take about 30 minutes, I would say. Okay, then after they've checked your ID, next thing they will do is your biometric capture. Some people think ID and biometric is the same thing. No, your ID is your physical ID, while your biometric capture is where they they will either take your fingerprints, or they will take a picture of your eye, or they will there's some other ways that they do the biometrics. So the officer will use an electronic device to capture your biometrics. All 10 of your fingers, I think they do now. And then also a digital photograph of your face, and then a signature on a digital pad. So you have to sign a signature. So all this information, they store it securely in their national voter. I didn't mean that. No, they store it securely in their voter register, and it's linked to your voter's record. So the biometric capture itself takes about, I think, another 30 minutes, I would say. Okay, so that will be linked to your record. Okay, then after that, this is when you will now receive your TVC. TVC is your temporary voter's card. Okay, so the TVC is your temporary voter's card. You receive that once you've submitted your biometrics, done your 10 fingerprints, you've signed, they've taken a picture of you. You will then be issued your temporary voter card, which is your TVC. It's sometimes it's called a registration slip or a TVC. So if they call it registration slip, it's the same thing. Okay, you need to keep this document very safe. Keep the TVC or the registration slip, whatever they've given to you at the end of your biometrics. You need to keep it safe, somewhere safe, because you need to present it. You need to bring it back when you want to collect your permanent voter's card, which is your PVC. Okay, so do not lose that slip once you have finished doing your biometrics. Make sure you keep it safe. Then you can go home from the office and you can wait. That is for your PVC to be ready. It will not be ready on the same day. Just be sure that you know that your PVC will not be ready on the same day. INEC will process your information, which INEC will put all your information together and notify you when your card is ready. Okay, this can take 1 to 3 months. Can you imagine? And they want to close voters registration on the end of June, so we don't have any time to waste. If that's true, allegedly, because I don't know how true. I still believe it's the 30th of August. It might even be later in the year, but let's not take any chances. We are where we are. So how long will the whole visit take? It's realistically, how long will it take? Yeah, how long should you expect to stay at INEC office for you to be fully registered? And scenario is estimated, like the pre-registration online appointment, that can take about an hour and a half. If you walk into the office with no prior registration, that can take about 3 hours, depending on if you have to queue. And as the time gets closer towards the end of the year, it's going to be worse, because everybody leaves everything for last minute. It can end up being 5 hours plus for you from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and that's just to do the registration at the office. Okay, because you still have to wait for it to be processed before you receive your actual voter's card. Okay, so after registration, INEC will process your card, and then this is what you have to do. Okay, wait for a notification from INEC. They will send you a text message if you gave them your mobile, or you can check online again at this website, which we looked at the beginning of the video, which is cvr.inecnigeria.org/VVS. I will again put the actual link. This is where you will check, and remember, we check the status of your registration, whether it was not found, whether it was pending, or whether it was already approved. Okay, so once you've done your registration at the office, allow maybe 14 to 30 days after registration for the database to update. And once your status shows as verified on that website I just gave you, then your card is ready. You can go back to the same office, the INEC office in your local government area where you did your biometric registration. Go back there, bring your temporary voter's card, the TVC that they gave you when you finished the registration. This slip you received, remember it's the slip that they gave you on the registration day. Bring that with you, present it to the INEC officer, confirm your identity, and collect your PVC. Important, you must go in person to collect your PVC. Nobody cannot collect your PVC on your behalf. Those days when you can pay someone and send them to go and do things, no, it's not going to work anymore, because people are getting fed up with the system being rigged and being abused. So do everything that you're supposed to do and let's get registered. So you have to collect your PVC yourself. You cannot send anybody. Nobody can collect your PVC on your behalf. Okay, right. So if your name does not appear online after 30 days of registering, you go to that website, cvr.inecnigeria.org/VVS. If you've put your details in and your name is not showing on the website after 30 days, take your registration slip to that local government area office and report it to an INEC officer as an issue. Report it to them that, look, my name is not on the system, and I registered like 30 days ago. My name should be on the system, and then they will know what to do for you at that point. Okay, so